something.
Sounds like an asshole. Sounds like a goober. That's what he sounds like.
I don't know.
I thought you said a goober was a good thing. Okay, David's
all of
very
these things are
insistent.
subjective.
We are apparently getting started on this game now.
Time. I'm really excited for game time.
So yeah, I hear it's actually your first time doing something like this.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Don't worry, it's super easy, and the system we're using is very basic.
Okay.
So today, under the insistence of one of our co-hosts here that there be no actual dungeons in any of our games, instead of going into a dungeon, you guys actually generally sit in front of a dungeon. You see, when adventurers go down into the dungeons, yeah, they bring some provisions, but eventually you run out and maybe there's treasure just 2 or 3 floors down. So you start killing monsters to sort of subsist off of them. And, you know, like anything down there, it's not great. It's pretty gamey food, you know? It's like if you're living off bear for too long. So when these guys come out of the dungeon, they are tired of shitty food. They've eaten nothing but provisions, like stale bread, monster parts for up to a month. They're like, they want a taste of home now. And that's where you guys come in.
Heck
you guys
yeah.
have a street food vendor shop set up right outside of the dungeon, ready, homemade cooking of any kind that they want, ready to go. So that's what you guys are doing. However, you've noticed as of late that there seem to be some bigger, more corporate interests coming in on here, you know.
Oh no.
Like, just there seems to be a bit more money. They're selling stuff a little bit cheaper than you can handle. You know, you're wondering, how are they getting all this food for so cheap? There must be someone backing them. That's right. We got corporate interests coming to take your small businesses away. Are you guys going to stand for that?
Hell no.
Exactly. So with that, we'll get the game started a little bit. I'm going to give a little preamble, and then we'll get to know the characters that we'll be dealing with today.
Cool. Real quick, before you start, can you repeat that whole thing? Because I wasn't listening.
No,
Don't worry.
Kelly, it's called improv. Go with it.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
This is what happens when I try to tell Kelly what my novel is about.
I told you what. Okay, sorry. We're talking over Josh. Go ahead.
So we'll start with a quote from the last words of an adventurer named Garrett before dying of food poisoning from a bad burrito he bought from a fellow adventurer. You know, I don't think it's the monsters in the dungeon that scare me anymore. I think it's the fact that 2 weeks into an expedition, I am so sick of eating them that I'll give almost anything for a taste of home. And then he bought that burrito and died. So, I mean, obviously he was willing to do literally anything for a taste of home.
Oh, goodness.
So let's get to meet our characters. Why don't we start with the new person? Who's your character?
How are we doing this? Are we doing this as a together thing?
We
have a. Sorry, is this good? Okay.
Because we have a food thing together.
Then you better introduce yourselves together. Then,
Cool.
if you're running the same shop, then
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Real-time camera adjustments.
Oh, good. So
you
my
like to see how the sausage is made. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emily.
My character's name is Emily Deverex.
Sorry, can you
Are you-
repeat that?
are you
I
ready
was-
to listen
David
now,
was
Kelly?
talking in my ear.
Mm-hmm.
He's the producer and he's giving me production notes.
After the show. Yes, so my character's name is Emily Deverex. She has shoulder length, kind of purplish hair, 5'10", glasses. Her background is that she used to make hand-blown glass bottles for a magic potion shop. And this is a reference to Brianne and I used to work at a glass blowing studio together. Is
that's
how
incredible.
we met. And then we
Remarkable
struck out
imagination.
on a new venture together. Our Pierogi Princess food stand, where we sell pierogies as well as slaughters, which are Slurpee waters.
Yes.
So you don't get over sugar, but you can stay cool. Slaughter your thirst. This is our tagline.
Hell yes. That's so good.
Slaughter your thirst before you go slaughter the monster.
So I just want you guys to know that the Mennonite blood in me right now would absolutely buy from that street shop 100%.
And then would you like to introduce your character, Brianne?
I'm not Emily. Emily really helped me with this. So some of it I don't even know what I am. I'm Bian. Bian Burney. Long ginger hair. Apparently a great smile. Thank you. Also used to make hand blown glass bottles. There we go. for a magic potion shop. And do we have anything different that's not slaughters? Nope, slaughters and pierogies.
Unless you want to share your special skill, which we didn't share our special skills. I don't know if you want those to be a surprise.
I mean, if you guys feel they're relevant to your characters, please tell us what your special skills are.
I'm a magic person, and I have protection magic to protect the cart in case any monsters come out of the dungeon.
Very practical. I like it. Pragmatic. I like it.
Yep.
Which is necessary because my special talent is only great knowledge of movies.
Ah, perfect. Pop culture knowledge from when the adventures come out. They're like, oh man, I really need to see a movie right now. What's come out? What's come out? I need to know what's in town.
Oh my gosh.
All right, perfect. So that's our pierogi shop right here, run by these two. All right, Kelly, your character.
Well, I think we should go in the order of the hierarchy you came up with. So it's the guests, and then it's Nicole, and then it's me.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Nicole, who are you? Who are you?
Who?
Josh, we've known each other since kindergarten. So my sorry, I'm not going to change my name here. My character's name is Gon de Elf.
Sweet.
Thank you. So I'm a wizard. I'm working hard to put myself through wizard school. Despite taking out a substantial wizard loan, I'm forced to work at a part-time wizard job selling frozen goat's milk treats from my parents' franchise ice cream business, the Fairy Queen.
Oh, love it.
Thank you. Yeah, and my special talents are I have the ability to freeze things, but only very small things. So it comes really handy in my job. It's kind of like my parents taught me that when I was like a kid. That was like the first magic I learned. And that's about all I can do is just freeze small, like maybe like
Ice
head
cream
size things.
Slaughters.
Hell yeah. You guys hiring? I cannot wait to get out of from underneath my parents' thumb.
We'll see how it goes.
All right, so we have our ice cream franchisee, our pierogi stand. All right, Kelly, why don't you finish us off here? What do you have?
Yeah, so my name is Angina Pectoris. What do I look like? I'm packed and stacked, especially in the back. My background, Angina has spent years chaining one scheme after another to cheat her lovers out of their disposable income. However, she caught a little too much heat in the last one and needs to lay low in the last place anyone would think to look for her, doing honest work. So for the special talent, so I was thinking, because you said we're using the special stat, we have magic, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking like, okay, I have this type of magic, and then my special talent is separate. But
Yes. You can.
Okay, I
yeah.
felt like everybody else was just saying what they're like. Okay.
It's okay. I mean, we're going by the fly here. A lot of this stuff probably not going to be used this session, but I need to know for next time.
Okay, so maybe you could apply this to everyone. I'm going to be a huge, I guess, nerd and pull from D&D. What's that name of that magic that's like it's only the like completely visual shit? Where you? No,
yeah,
there's a word for it.
No, that's literally it. That's illusion magic.
No, but there's like it doesn't matter. There's like a anyway.
Let the two GMs tell you that it's illusion.
I just made a character. It's just level 1 spell. Anyway,
Prestidigitation?
yes, that's the one where it's
There
like,
you go.
It's
Third GM. Got
specifically
it.
defined as like only like you can like make puffs of smoke. You can do anything that can't like affect. What's prestidigitation then? All right, we'll come back to this. I just assumed we all kind of can do like harmless magic that's not too powerful.
I mean, this all seems to be going so far so good. Yes.
Okay, so my special talent is
That's a word.
it's a skill called honeypot, which is advantage on persuasion and deception towards people that are sexually oriented toward me.
Well, there you go. So there's your prestidigitation there.
Yeah, harmless sensory effect.
You instantly clean or soil an object. You chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material.
Oh, flavor would be really useful for the food trucks.
I assumed this was maybe the magic we all did or something,
I mean,
or just me.
I mean, if
You
you're
tell
doing that
me.
style, then I'm okay with that. I mean, the nice thing, this isn't D&D, so you can just say that's what I want, and that can be it.
All right.
I'm learning so much.
Can I have an item in my inventory?
I mean, I said you could have one.
All right. So I have a ventriloquist dummy named Endo.
I
I'm
hate that.
curious how this is going to come into play.
Maybe a charisma throw at some point. Wait, we don't have charisma here. It'd be mind at that point.
About charisma, psyche.
Mm,
Let's move on.
yeah. Psyche is what I want it to be.
Hmm.
All right. So the first problem that you, after you set up shop, is that you go through your stock larders, and for some reason, you seem to only have about half the stock that you believe that you had stored in a hidden location the night before. So, what is your plan about this? How are you going to investigate this?
So our stock has disappeared? Like
Half of
all
your-
of us?
Yes, you've noticed that half your stock. You're going to see perplexed looks on everyone's faces as they're going through their larders, and they're just like,
Can I hear the perplexed look?
I mean,
On
you
on
allegedly
cam?
could hear a blank stare, so maybe you
Okay.
can hear a perplexed look as
Yes,
well.
from across the road.
So I
you
hear
me
I
staring
hear
blankly.
M's perplexed look while I'm digging through my stuff, and I wheel around and I decided to walk over. Well, hey there. It seems you're having some trouble. What's going on?
Well, you see, the thing is, some of our stock seems to be missing. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Oh, not me, madam. But I promise you, we will get to the bottom of this. Doesn't that woman over there seem like she's having a problem as well?
Yes, I can hear the intense gazes going on in that cart as well.
I'm hearing a lot of strange gazes. I think something is afoot, my friends.
Are you a Southern Belle?
I'm a Northern Belle. I come from the north of this.
You're
The
from
north
a
of this
northern-
region.
Yeah.
Northern Gondola.
Yeah,
Northern
out
Gondola.
in Northern Gondola, that's kind of the backwoods sticks of this area. You know,
Okay,
we used to
gotcha.
enslave all the goblins. Now we don't anymore, and so it's kind of like a weird, confused culture.
Gotcha. I see it now.
So I think I try to lead them over to Gone.
Okay. And while you're walking towards there, actually, could I get the three of you all to take a quick little perception is probably psyche. Let's do a psyche check by the three of you.
Sure.
So we're rolling 2d6 for our rolls?
I think it's 2d6 if I'm remembering correctly.
However you want. Kate made a rule where you can just roll one die, and you just make it a straight 1 to 6 of whether we perceive it.
Let's just roll 2 and then combine against stats.
All right.
Okay, so you're going to roll those 2 dice, and then you'll add your 1 for psyche.
So I rolled a. Oh wait, am I rolling as well, or is it just those?
Just
three?
the three of them as they're walking towards your cart.
Well, I got a 5.
You got a 5
with
okay.
my
Okay.
I have a 9.
You have a 9. Okay, and you have
At 5, I guess.
a 5 as well. Okay, so you guys, the two of you who got 5s, you sort of notice like some disturbed dirt and mud near the carts, but as you're walking towards, it was gone. Nicole, gone.
Gone.
Try to add inflection to that. They didn't belong there. Anyways, however, Emily, while you're walking, you see fresh tracks in the mud leading away from Gon's cart into the woods. Little tracks, goblin tracks.
Oh no. Everyone, look, there's footprints. It looks like we've been raided by goblins. I'm surprised my protection magic didn't keep them away.
Oh, what? Does that mean they hit mine as well? And I run back to look at my cart because I haven't even looked.
So Gon, being a cynical student who's been going to wizard school for a while now and has learned just enough to know that the world sucks, just like sighs heavily and goes like, and she's immediately like, this is a corporation that's doing this to me.
I mean, a logical place to go at that. I mean, goblins raid things after all.
Mm-hmm.
They're known for raiding, if I'm remembering correctly, my ancient annals of the history of this world that doesn't have a name.
Sorry, the ancient what?
The ancient,
Right.
Yeah, that one.
yeah. The ancient, don't worry the fuck about it.
Right. Okay, writing that down.
So after seeing these footprints, these goblin footprints, seeing they lead into the dark woods that don't have the kind of monsters you'd see in a dungeon, but they do have your, usual wildlife, little goblin bands that run around, your average forest danger instead of your real dungeon stuff. So it's probably something some not so adventurous types like yourselves can probably handle.
Are these goblins capable of hurting me?
I don't know.
Okay.
Are they?
Did I find anything when I ran back to my cart?
Well, yours is also missing half its stalk.
Oh shit! I thought I was immune from that.
Bian, do you have any sage advice for this situation based on your great knowledge of lore and tales?
All of what is happening.
Is this like one of your movies that you've watched?
Oh my gosh. Let's think of a good one with goblins.
Yeah, Brienne was like, I don't know how to pretend things. So I'm like, we'll make characters as close to us in person as possible, so you can just be yourself, but in a fantasy
So
world.
what would you do in this situation if goblins had stolen all your shit and run into a forest?
Go after them.
Well, that sounds like a
That's
good
some
start,
very
doesn't
sage
it?
advice, Bian. I think we should do that.
Bian was your name?
Yes.
I have a proposition. Someone will need to watch all of our things to make sure those goblins don't come back. Why don't the three of you go investigate? You'll be safest together in the forest. And I'll make sure no one touches our stalls.
Well, I think I should cast a protection spell on our stalls, and then we can all go into the forest together. Don't you know to never split the party? The adventurers say this. Coming out of
up
the
in the
dungeon all
north,
the
we have a
time.
different slogan, which is always split the party. It seems.
See, but all the okay,
I
but
do not
okay,
mean to be
no.
rude,
Hold
madam.
on. Because there's the adventurers. There's like 4 of them, and then they go into the dungeon, and then they come back out, and there's like 2 of them, and they're like, "Don't split the party." This is what they tell me at the pierogi shack.
I'm just worried, madam, that your protection magic was not enough to protect these stalls in the first place.
And you're going to be?
Oh, you can trust me, honey.
So as a reference, I've dealt with this character before, whose name I definitely know, and from what I know of her slogan is to always split the party. So I'm totally fine going on without her on this adventure, because I feel like there's no way we're going to convince her to come with us.
Oh.
Well, if you're all going to make a fuss, I will come with you. Why don't, who would like to lead the way? Yes, you over there, Miss Delph.
Yeah, so
You know these lands well, do you not?
I'm already annoyed with this.
You
I
refuse
just
to move away from
stride
here.
boldly into the forest.
All right, we're doing this.
We're following.
All right.
I follow behind kind of slowly, and I go, I'll just be a minute. I have to go to the little girl's room, and I go to piss behind a rock.
Very daintily.
Mm-hmm.
Want to make you do a body check?
Me?
Yes.
All right.
Oh no. I
Is
don't
this like a
like
stealth check?
that we have to roll to go to the bathroom.
I don't think everyone. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be
Six?
Kelly.
I got a 6.
You successfully managed to urinate.
All right.
I just wanted to let you know that.
Cool. I didn't pee on myself at all.
didn't pee on yourself at all.
That's because I'm a lady, sir.
Yes, well done. Well done. As you continue further into the forest, you notice something strange about the tracks. They begin to become more sparse and replaced instead by massive boot prints that look nothing like goblin tracks, in fact.
It's polymorph.
I mean, I'm not going to answer any of that.
So they
They're
walked to the
little
forest,
and
but
then
I've
they're
hidden behind the
big.
rock, right?
I mean, I expect that you finished pissing and you're continuing on your way.
Well, after I finish, I kind of want to dip back to the stalls and just see if there's any cash in their registers.
Well, you did place a protection spell on, right?
Absolutely.
Can I roll to beat the protection spell in some way?
I mean, you can roll. Let's see. That'd probably go against willpower for protection. So roll me a psyche.
All right. That's a 7.
You fail.
Oh fuck. Okay, how do I fail? What does it look like?
You know when you've had a lot of static charging your body, and you touch a light switch, and it doesn't just shock you. You see like the arc happen. That basically happens, and it just like numbs your hand for a second.
No, my heavens.
That's
And
what you
I-
get for trying to steal from Pierogi Princess.
I feel like you're not there, but
This
I
is that's
kinda-
the voice you hear in your head when you set
Oh,
off my
shit,
trap.
that's good. I flustered. I kind of get up and dust myself off, and I like pick up my like big fluffy dress, and I just kind of like huffle into the forest, be like, "Ho, my bladder was so full, my lord. Oh, I'm catching up. Don't you worry." And I catch up to them. That's the one thing we're not shy about with all of our manners in the north is pissing. We love it.
just pissing though.
Yeah.
All right, so you continue, and you're starting to notice that these heavy set boots are replacing these small goblin tracks that you saw before. And in the distance, you hear not quite whispering, but somebody who's got one of those really loud booming voices trying to whisper. So you hear
It's like a stage whisper.
yeah,
Can we hear what that sounds like?
you can. If we just kept the tracks going longer, wouldn't it become less suspicious?
They sound like dummies. Can we just take them?
I believe in us. We must defend the Pierogi Princess.
Can
in
we
the end.
see the like source of any of these voices, or it's just coming down the forest?
You're hearing it ahead of you, basically.
All right. So what's the plan?
Does anyone have any swords or weapons or anything with which we might murder goblins?
We have some forks.
I have the ability to freeze things. So I could freeze the forks, we could shatter them, and then throw the shrapnel. I'm just spitballing here. If you got a better idea, just cut me off.
You know, perhaps this is not the time for violence, but this is rather the time for a little bit of grace and charm. Follow my lead. And I decide to kind of like sidle up ahead of them. I can sidle very quickly.
Okay.
And I want to get like well ahead of them so I'm not seen with these kind of like really kind of
This
ratty,
riff-raff.
ratty, common looking people.
Wow. Wow. Rude.
And I kind of like, yeah, I want to try and catch up to the goblins. Like, do I see them if
I mean, as you what were you saying?
so I sidle?
You'll sidle through the bushes.
Yeah. It's
You-
like sauntering, but a bit different.
You
I'll work with the taxonomy of those later.
It's
Yeah.
sideways.
you realize that for some reason your brain hadn't quite kicked in at this point by them being large, heavy set boots, but these aren't goblins actually, but instead 3 very large, goonish looking men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we didn't even talk about goons yet.
No. So when I'm kind of like in eye shot of these goons,
Yes.
I want to start like kind of like looking around like John Travolta and
I know
whatever.
actually which
yeah.
gift you're talking about.
And
Yes.
that's Pulp Fiction, right? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm looking
seen that
around like
movie.
John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, but I'm kind of like picking up my big billowy. I don't know what you call those dresses.
I
but-
called it a southern dress, but apparently you're from the north.
Yeah, it's a
so-
northern dress.
Northern.
And I'm
It's
like,
just skirts.
I'm harumping very loudly. Like I'm looking like, well, I never. What treachery is this? I'm trying to like kind of like look pathetic and desperate.
That's fair. And it works. One of them notices you immediately, and you see in his hand a couple of wooden stakes that have little goblin feet imprinters put on top. And they appear to be taking off what would look like snowshoes, essentially. Things designed to spread out your weight so you don't leave an impression.
So wait, but instead of snowshoes, which is like a small person on large things, they are like large people on like small shoes.
No. They're getting out of these large spanning devices used to not put down an impression. They're holding little sticks that they use to make footprints.
Okay.
You
but-
picking up what I'm laying down now?
Yeah, no,
I feel like
get
they
it.
just could have not left footprints at all, and that probably would have worked better for them.
That would have been too perfect.
Unless they're trying to lure us.
Unless they're trying to lure us. Yes.
Or maybe their mind stat is just ridiculously low. One of the two.
Mm.
I won't tell you which though.
So one of them noticed me.
One does.
I say, "Oh, sir, would you help? Would you help a lost lady?"
I'm assuming this is your attempt to sort of do a seduction of sorts.
Well, I can only seduce people that are like sexually oriented toward me, so I can't assume that what they're into. But I'm just trying to look. I'm just trying to look helpless to start, like to see if somebody will like just kind of be patronizing.
Fair enough. Well, the one
We
that
are all
noticed,
far away. Is that what's
I'm
happening?
expecting that you guys are coming up quick,
Okay.
basically.
Sure.
He's just trying to. She's trying to get the drop on and try to act pathetic enough that they'll maybe.
And then we'll stab them in the back with our forks.
Or their
Plan's
little
already
pig
working.
feet.
So, wielding one of the feet peg things like a club,
Yes.
he approaches you and asks, in a loud billowing voice this time, "What do you think you're doing, young lady?"
Oh my heavens, sir! Is this your forest?
It's the king's forest.
You have to understand. I'm not from around here. I'm from the north, and perhaps we do things a little differently. But I'm dreadfully lost. Yeah.
And if this looks like it's going very badly, which I think it is, I'm going to try and sneak around and do a fork stab.
You're gonna try to do a fork stab. All right, we're going straight for the fork stabs.
Wow. Do I notice that she's doing that?
Do you notice that? How about you roll me? Let's roll. I'm gonna keep rolling perception, but we're gonna call psych perception here. So
That's great. That's great because I have a bonus in that. So I got 9.
you got 9. So yes, you do notice Emily sneaking up with a fork stab ready to go.
Okay, so I really quickly try to jump into action before she like makes us all go tits up. So I kind of like grab the goon's hand and I'm like, please, sir, won't you help? Won't you help us, a lady in distress?
All right, and Emily, is your plan still going for the fork stab?
I'll see how the guy responds, and if it's negatively, I'll stab him, and if it looks like he's falling for this act, I'll hold off.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, you have actually stumbled across 3 gay polyamorous men
Hell yeah.
who sideline as goons in their spare time to make board, basically. You know,
Mhm.
rent isn't cheap.
But are they gentlemanly gay polyamorous goons?
This one in particular is actually very touch adverse, and so grabbing his hand was probably the worst thing you could have done there. So, with a look of utter revulsion, he yanks his hand away from you and raises the club further. And now I'm going to leave time to do actions before this all, as you so terribly put it, goes tits up.
Mhm. So he's already like lifted me?
He's just jerked your arm away. Like, he's just like, again, touch adverse. So he is not okay with the fact that you just grabbed him without permission.
Gotta ask
Oh,
for
sweet
consent
mercy.
first.
And
God.
what are your guys' plans? Nicole, Emily, Brianna?
Fork stabs.
Fork stabs. All right.
There's 3 of them and 3 of us, right?
4 of us.
Yeah, you're technically outnumbering.
Yeah.
So we see some fork stabs here. Okay, so who's all attempting a fork stab? You are for sure. You are.
Mhm.
Let's get a couple body rolls going on here
I gave us such bad body stats.
then. Pray to the dice.
'Cause we're all geeks.
Dice.
You guys are literally going to tell me what I'm doing. So.
You roll the
I
dice.
got a 9.
And
Wow.
Brianna's
Yeah.
so
What did you say?
you quit. You got the highest possible roll you could.
Okay.
Good job.
We don't have
Brianne.
time to
You
say
did
the
it.
full words, so
You
like
did it.
Sorry, guys.
there's all those delays in the stream. We just
So
there's no time to explain.
I'm a DM that believes in the players describing what they do based on their own roles. So you said you got a 9.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a decent roll. So describe me how you're not super elegant in doing so, but you get the job done. You're down and dirty. You got the fork in one of them.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get like the back or like the back of the neck, but like I don't quite hit that. I kind of get him in like the arm flesh, and get some pretty good fork prong penetration in
Some
there.
good damage, right? Okay. And I'm gonna unfortunately have to ask you to do some narrative here for me as well. If you were to take someone out using a dinner fork in the most graceful and beautiful way possible, how would you do it?
I pluck, pop, pluck, pop.
2 eyeballs. Okay.
Yeah.
There we
Wow.
go. Just
Brutal.
gracefully, with a splash of blood and gunk, you rip out those eyes flawlessly.
Thank you for
I
describing
never
it.
knew you were this cutthroat, Brienne. Sorry, Bien.
The shrieks are extremely audible as he puts his hands to his eyes and the gore just leaks out of him. He collapses to his knees. While the man who had his arm stabbed is almost distracted from his own pain because of the sheer violence of the actions just imposed upon him. The third man, who is still in the process of dealing with I've already forgotten your character's name. I'm very bad DM here.
Angina.
Angina.
Angina
How did I forget
pectoris.
that? Dealing with Angina's horrible breach of consent. He seems utterly and totally lost. Just in shock as one of his lovers is dying on the ground from blood loss, and the other one is looking at this fork sticking out of his arm, sort of in that, like, you know, like in those movies where they have like a knife and they just like sit there for a second, they're like, oh, she doesn't, this is true. They just sort of, I got to start using book metaphors, I guess, but that doesn't really work from a visual standpoint. Fuck. Maybe a video game. Anyways,
There you go.
the sort of shock of having a foreign object sunk into you. You're sort of sitting there in shock. So what's your guys' next action? You have utterly destroyed this group of dumb goons. What is your plan, Nicole? You're coming in.
Yeah,
here.
so I'd like to I'd like to run screaming out of the bush, and because I've like specified that I can freeze head-sized objects, I feel like I want to run towards specifically the guy that had previously interacted with an angina, and I stretch my hand out and I try and freeze his full head.
His full head. Okay, so I need a special roll for that then. I think this is the first time I've ever done this where we've done a special roll.
Okay. So I got a 3.
Okay, was that with 2 d6s?
No, sorry. Excuse me. I didn't realize I got 2 d6s.
Yes, you get
I got a 9.
You got a 9. Well, that's a lot better than 3. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
But yes. So, you manage not to quite freeze it solid, but you've done this kind of like two-face thing where you've gotten the one half of his face and it's like severely frostbitten now, like that kind of frostbite where stuff's peeling and cracking like immediately, and now he's on the ground. You have destroyed this group of goons. They are at your mercy.
I hope they were actually guilty of something.
Yeah, right.
So the one that I grabbed, like he dropped me in shock.
He didn't drop you. You grabbed him and like we're like, oh my goodness, and he just went fuck, kind of basically like what are you doing?
Right.
Yes.
But like, so
and then Nicole froze half his face.
So
As one
they
does.
stabbed the other two.
Yes,
And she froze the one that is holding me. So like
was not holding you.
right. So I can get up, right?
Yes, you can get up.
Wait, do I kind of fall onto him though?
I would say more just it's like when someone yanks your hand out, you could stand there or you could fall over and
I kind of want to fall onto him. So when I'm getting up and like, oh, sorry, sir, I do apologize. I want to like quickly go through his pockets. Like,
okay, well that's definitely a body check if you're going to try to pickpocket someone while they're writhing in pain from being frostbitten from half their face being frozen.
yeah. So he's distracted, right? I got a 7.
A 7. You don't find anything of note, just a small pouch with like a couple copper pieces in it.
Yeah, I take it.
Perfect.
I got bills to pay. Like,
So did you guys steal our stuff?
Yeah.
Which one are you going to talk to? Because one's still screaming because their eyes are gone.
Yeah.
In general.
did you say that one is bleeding to death?
He got his eyes gouged out.
Yeah,
See, I didn't think we were gonna jump straight to murder, but who knew? Bien had it in her.
Bien
We're
was
gonna see
going
what
with
happens.
vengeance here.
Yeah.
The one who only has a fork sticking out of his arm seems to now be the most compliant. Side note, torture doesn't work. Don't do this.
depends what you're trying to do.
He goes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
we
goal's turning
did,
on,
but
Sorry.
it's not our fault. We had to.
You had to explain.
Well, you see, rent recently went up in the city, and we had to take a side job that we wouldn't have normally taken from
Stout is back.
I don't know if you've heard about the Mega Sugar Corporation. So I'll get you all to roll just a mind check for that one to see if you've heard of the Mega Sugar Corporation.
Is mine psyche
It's understanding.
or
Understanding,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
So if I roll that, but I'm -1, like because it's a critical success.
It's still a critical success.
All
so.
right. Well, I critically succeed.
Okay, and
I got a 6.
6,
11.
11, and Nicole
6.
6. So the people who've gotten 6, you've heard of them before. Like you might have bought something that they produce, and you're like, oh yeah, the Mega Sugar Corporation. Okay, cool. The 11, you basically know that they are a giant multinational conglomerate of food service companies that have sort of combined underneath one head to sort of make sure that they have a diverse set of holdings and can break down any kind of competition. And Kelly, because you crit, you actually remember the name of their CEO, Sir Humphrey Bellegarde.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that he is a notoriously bad dude who is against unions, against paid breaks, and he exploits his workers to work 16 out of the 20 hours that happen in this world.
I know this is fantasy, Josh, but can you stay within the realm of plausibility? Like,
Just be glad I didn't call him Hef Bezos.
yeah, we love like really creative names in this game.
Yes,
So.
I've noticed. I've noticed. So it's now that you know who the Mega Sugar Corporation is, you know this is bad news. If they've started taking action against a small stand such as yourself, they must have plans for this region.
And you said it was a bad dude?
He's a bad dude.
Like bad enough, like a bad enough dude to rescue the president? Or
Thank you.
I only have one question, and it's, can I stab him with a fork?
Sir Humphrey?
Yeah.
he's not
I mean,
here.
in theory, like if you ever met him, you could probably stab him with a fork.
You can stab anyone with a fork if you're motivated enough. Like,
I'm learning that right now, live.
You all heard that. Everyone that's watching this heard that, right? Motivational speakers. Go on.
Yeah, welcome to my TED Talk, how to stab anyone with a fork.
that is the official stance of this show. Is if
Can that be the episode title?
If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
We just want to be super encouraging to all of our viewers. Absolutely. Okay, so where do we find this Humphrey, not Bezos guy?
That should have been his last name. Damn. Well, we might change the canon at some point. Well, he is in the capital city, so you're not meeting him anytime soon. However,
Also, you guys don't know that. Only I know that.
yeah, you didn't actually say anything about it.
Oh.
I ain't saying shit.
Oh, look at this. Secretive.
Look who's a team player.
But yes, by virtue of just knowing that the Mega Sugar Corporation is massive, you know that there's bad stuff coming this way.
I'm gonna stab them all with forks.
All right. Well, I think this is at the point where they're under your mercy. So, the fellow GM here, the producer offhand, would we be able to call this a coup de grace moment? Absolutely, a coup de grace moment. How do you finish off these guys?
Do we actually want to murder them?
You said it, not me. I'm just the DM.
No,
I'm here to facilitate murder.
You're the
I want to
GM, the
stab
game
the
moron.
Sugar Corp guys.
Oh, I mean,
Because they're the source of this.
you can also do that.
These guys are just victims of capitalism.
And stab
forks.
And forks.
As we all are.
And the elf's freezing power.
and don't
And
forget
Northern Charm?
and don't forget the unfortunately artificial scarcity of the housing market in the main cities.
Yes, indeed.
They're just victims. Like, you people are bad people.
Yeah. So I, as somebody who has not stabbed anyone, I after tucking my coppers into my pocket, I say, stealing is wrong no matter why you do it, and there are resources in this city. There's a local community support initiative, and if you get in contact with them, I know they'll give you some money. But these folks, they're dangerous, they're violent. And I motion at these two and at Gondelf, and I'm like, I'm gonna go get the authorities to arrest these murderers, and then I fuck off. Like I bolt.
Peace.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
bye.
why
I think
did you
I mentioned earlier that I know this person is planning to split the party, so I kind of saw this coming. But I kind of roll my eyes and I go, okay, well, what do you guys want to do next?
Do we want to get the eyeball dude to not bleed out and die?
Yeah, like
Bien?
can Nicole maybe like freeze his face or something so he's
Oh
not
yeah,
bleeding?
can he freeze his eyeballs shut?
Yeah.
Give
Yeah,
him ice balls.
I can do that. I do that. I kind of like draw my powers in a little bit and I try to do that. Do I roll for that?
You would roll your special. Yep. This is where we get a chance for hijinks, and I always pray for hijinks.
Quick question. I know everyone else definitely, or I know, Kelly and I for sure who have played this before definitely know this, but for everyone else, how did we roll for our special? Was that...
Did you give yourself a special stat, Nicole?
Did
you read the thing in the game chat where I said we're gonna fill 4 stats instead of 3?
I did see that. I didn't do anything about it. What was I supposed to do to fill my special thing?
You just add 1 more total to your stats. So if you just make your special 0, it'll work out.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely did that. That's exactly what I did.
It's like we're so on the same page as you're always a step ahead of us, and it's like we don't even have to talk about these things. It's just like, wow, I already did it.
Yeah, always. Okay,
This
so
is
I got
why we can't replace Nicole, and we were definitely not talking about replacing Nicole before she came on the stream.
I got a 7.
You got a 7. Okay, so it's gonna be a little messy. You succeed. You get both the eyes, which is great. But you got his nose too, so he's gonna lose that at some point. But not yet, because it's just frozen. It's just
Who
frozen.
even needs your nose? Like, if you're gonna like lose a sense, your nose is probably the least important one.
Yeah,
so
it just affects taste. It's no big deal.
I might have a solution.
Oh?
Can I chip the ice off his nose with a fork?
We'll do a body check for that. I'll allow this.
Pray for me. That's a solid 4.
Well,
4?
you know how I talked about that it wasn't going to come off like soon?
Oh no.
Well, I lied.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I tried.
So, how do you take this man's nose off with a fork? Let's hear this in loving detail.
I think I like really carefully like line up the fork and I'm like, hold on, I'm just gonna chip this itis off. I'll be really gentle, and then I just like slip and stab super hard, and his nose just falls off in like one singular chunk.
Impressive. I'm quite impressed.
So I think being a student who's like played many like bar question games where where you go and like you kind of have like a few drinks and you talk about like, what would you rather? Like Gon has definitely answered the question of like, would you rather lose your sense of eyesight or your sense of smell? And like they've like already ranked your sense of smell. So I'm gonna go ahead and like use all those arguments to try and convince Em that she's like what she's done isn't that bad, or what we've done, I should say, isn't that bad.
Yeah, this is a team here.
Yeah, it's better
he
than
didn't
like.
have to choose between his eyesight and his nose. He got to lose both of them.
Yes, there was no choice to be had.
Did he? Oh, I thought these were 2 different people.
No,
No.
you definitely.
Yes, of course, right. That was why I was freezing them in the first place. Well, it's better than losing his sense of hearing.
At least he's got that going for him.
Yeah,
There's
it's
3
good to
games
be
though,
able
right?
to
Yeah.
hear
So,
things coming
one
and
of them was-
taste things
One
coming.
got one in the arm,
And one got his eyes ripped out.
and his nose broken off now.
Oh, but the one who pulled me down was one with the frozen face, right?
The frozen half face, yeah.
Right, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Well,
wait. No, we're good.
I read a book once about someone who lost their eyesight and their sense of smell, and they were totally fine. So I think this guy will make it. You know, I think he's going to be better for it because he's going to discover that his other senses are much more acute, and he's going to be able to tell a unique story that no one has ever had before. He's going to be able to overcome these difficulties.
He's
Sound a lot
basically
like
Daredevil now.
Yeah.
This is someone's
Daredevil
origin
is
story
Daredevil
right
couldn't
here.
smell.
How
If
does it
you-
feel to be the villain in the superhero's origin story?
If you fucked up his ears, though, imagine how good he would taste shit. It would just be like, oh my god.
That's a good point. Do we want to do that before we go?
Nah,
No? No takers?
Deanne, are you still
Okay.
up for blood?
No, we fixed as best as we could, right?
Oh yeah, did we get our stuff back?
He the one that only has his fork in his arm, who is somehow the one who's least damaged and traumatized out of all of this, has a shaking hand and points towards bushes that are behind them,
Mhm.
saying, "That's where your stuff is. Just take it and leave us alone."
Okay, so I dive for the bushes. I'm going for it.
And unfortunately, as you part the bushes, you see what appear to be actual goblin tracks this time.
Oh,
No!
We have to get our forks back from the injured men so that we have something to fight with.
Man, all of our pierogi materials are going to go rancid.
We still have half.
That said, you also see on the ground, as well, Gon does, as they scramble around looking for their stuff, they find a note written in messy but still legible handwriting. And all it says is, "We have a preposition for you if you meet us at the cave 6 paces south and 10 paces west."
So Gon, who has just gone to school, says, does that say preposition or proposition?
They're goblins, Nicole.
That's a very
Right.
large word for a tiny goblin.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I start hiking into the bush. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just gonna
You're
start
wandering.
hiking.
It's not like there was directions on where to go or anything like that.
Follow the
Well, I
directions.
see that there's directions, but I've just been in university for a year. What do I know about bushcraft?
Well, I think that as you guys wander into the woods, apparently lost because you don't know what south and west are,
We're not adventurers. We don't have those skills.
I think that's where we'll hold off for the next adventure right there.